Ryuuji Takasu is discontent about how his eyes make him look like an intimidating delinquent. He wants to get closer to a girl he likes, Minori Kushieda, but can't tell her his feelings. On the first day of his second year of high school, he bumps into a diminutive girl, Taiga Aisaka, known for snapping at others and her outward brutality. By coincidence, Taiga and Minori are in Ryuji's class this year. Later, Taiga accidentally puts a love letter in Ryuji's bag, thinking it was Yuusaku Kitamura's bag. As Ryuji was observing the letter and realized why Taiga was aggressive with him earlier, he hears a loud sound and goes into his living room. Suddenly, Taiga appears in Ryuji's house that night with a wooden katana to kill him for knowing that she likes Kitamura. After Ryuji apologizes and tells Taiga to calm down, Ryuji cooks Taiga food. Taiga then discovers that Ryuji likes Minori, who is Taiga's good friend. Ryuji tells her that he will do anything to help her with Kitamura, and they both keep their crushes a secret from everyone else but themselves. The next morning, Ryuji finds out that Taiga lives in an apartment building next door to his house. When he comes over, he cleans the house, kitchen and serves her breakfast. Ryuji figures out that before Taiga could help him get closer to Minori, he has to help her get closer to Kitamura. During basketball shooting practice, Taiga and Ryuji plan to knock out Kitamura's partner with a basketball so that Taiga can be Kitamura's partner. However, Taiga ends up being knocked out instead. She makes some cookies and plans to give them to Kitamura. Unfortunately, she falls off the stairs in the process of chasing him, throwing them out of the window in the process. Ryuji breaks her fall. He eats her ruined cookies and says they are great, encouraging her to try making cookies again. Since Ryuji and Taiga are often together, a misunderstanding begins among their classmates that Ryuji and Taiga are dating. This causes Taiga to not talk to Ryuji the next morning. When Ryuji enters the class and passes by Taiga, he notices his classmates are scared and the desks and chairs are disorganized. According to the class, Taiga sets the record straight that Ryuji and her are not dating. Outside, Taiga confesses her love to Kitamura, but he instead wants to continue being friends instead of a couple. On the way to school, Taiga complains about Ryuji being nitpicky about the laundry. They walk past a baseball field and observe Minori playing where Ryuji starts blushing as he spectates Minori practicing. After school, while Ryuji was preparing food, he finds out his rice cooker breaks as it took a long time for him to cook of Taiga's annoyance. Taiga takes him to a nearby family restaurant where Minori is working part-time. Minori tells him that she has several part-time jobs, but he later wonders if there is a reason why Minori needs money. The next day, Ryuji and Taiga run into Minori at another of her part-time jobs, and the two help out for the day, despite Taiga wanting to back down from the start. The boss is being unfair toward Taiga by ordering her to carry and deliver beer cases, despite her height. To counter her inability to ride a bicycle during a delivery, Taiga pushes the bike along the road. Ryuji and Minori get locked inside the storehouse, and Ryuji starts to learn more about why Minori is often so cheerful. As they try to climb out of the storehouse, Taiga surprises them, resulting in them falling down the pile of boxes, later getting out of the storehouse. After viewing some blurred images Taiga took of Yuusaku Kitamura, Ryuji offers to take pictures of him for Taiga. During school, Taiga speaks out to the student council president but is stopped by Kitamura, causing her to become both happy and depressed. Kitamura and Minori force Ryuji and Taiga to eat with them during lunch. Taiga becomes tense in the presence of Kitamura and inadvertently tells them that Ryuji made her bento. Ryuji covers this up by saying that he is making bento for money. Ryuji manages to take several photos of Kitamura, but he later finds out about them. Kitamura shows his photos of Taiga to Ryuji. He tells Ryuji that he confessed to Taiga a year ago that he liked her, but she quickly turned him down, only to end up liking him. Taiga later recounts this to Ryuji but becomes angry about the embarrassing things she is telling him. At the family restaurant where Minori works, Ryuji and Taiga were sitting at a table where Taiga was reading a model magazine and was amazed by model Ami Kawashima. To Taiga's surprise, Yuusaku arrives with Ami, who is his childhood friend. When Kitamura and Ryuuji excuse themselves to the bathroom, Kitamura secretly shows Ryuuji that Ami is a conceited and manipulative person, different from her being a self-proclaimed airhead. Taiga soon comes to dislike Ami and even slaps her in the restaurant. Later on, Ami transfers into their class, quickly becoming popular with her classmates and the faculty. At school, she maintains her airhead personality. She flirts with Ryuuji around the vending machine area and seems to only reveal her true nature to Taiga. Ami tries to make Taiga think Kitamura hates her now because of how she acted, but Ryuuji assures her that is not the case. After school, while Taiga and Ryuuji were heading to the convenience store to purchase tonkatsu sauce, Taiga learns in a magazine that Ami is taking a break from modeling. Walking back home, they noticed Ami walking alone with a grocery bag possibly full of junk food, giving Taiga a good revenge plan. The next morning, as Ami was explaining why she doesn't diet as she is naturally predisposed, Taiga and Minori rush and grab her. They then felt her stomach flab and tickle her for the sake of the diet warriors. Annoyed by the incident, Ami lets her true self out before covering it with fake tears in front of her friends. After school, when Ryuuji noticed that Ami was being followed by a strange guy with a camera, Taiga suddenly appears scaring the guy away by throwing a garbage can. Ami then takes refuge in Taiga's apartment out of Taiga's recommendation as it was the best option due to Ami's taste in fancy things. The next day, Kitamura asks Taiga and Ryuuji to be better friends with Ami since they know what type of person she is. Taiga volunteers herself and Ryuuji to take part in the student council's monthly neighborhood cleaning rally, and Minori and Ami tag along too. After Taiga and Minori leave together, Ami and Ryuuji hide from the strange guy, resulting in Ami telling Ryuuji that the person was a stalker and messed up her life, resulting in her moving here. Ami was surprised when she noticed Taiga and Minor looking for her and Ryuuji. When the stalker tries to take photos of Taiga, she gets angry and chases him down. Empowered by Taiga's actions, Ami decides to discard her fake personality. She chases down the stalker and destroys his camera. Ami admits that she was scared in front of Ryuuji after the stakes runs away in fear. Ryuuji and Ami then head to Ryuuji's house where she asked Ryuuji what he would do if she showed her true self. Before Ryuuji could answer her question, Taiga walks in on them and is surprised to see them in that position. With the school's pool finally opening for the summer, Minori, Ami, and Taiga buy swimsuits with Ryuuji. During gym class, people are throwing each other into the pool, and Ami throws Taiga into the pool. It turns out Taiga cannot swim. When Ryuuji goes to save her, she tells him one of the pads came out. Ryuuji manages to work everything out and Taiga is saved. Taiga and Ami then compete in a 50-meter swimming race. If Ami wins, Ryuuji will go to her villa over summer break, leaving Taiga alone. Ryuuji helps Taiga practice. After Ryuuji insists that she wants to win for Kitamura and that he would go to Ami's villa alone if she wanted, Taiga is furious and refuses to compete. Taiga suddenly shows up last minute for the competition when Ami thought she was getting the free win. When Taiga's leg cramps during the race, Ryuuji jumps into the pool to stop her from continuing. However, Taiga declares that she wants to win for him, so Ryuuji lets her go. When Taiga is pushing for the lead, a few boys are pushed into the pool and Ryuuji is knocked out. Realizing that Ryuuji is in danger, Taiga turns around and goes to save him, losing the match. Afterward, Ryuuji regains consciousness to see a shaken and angry Taiga as no one cared about Ryuuji's well-being. She then screams, "Ryuuji is mine." As a result of Taiga losing the bet, Ami gets to take Ryuuji to her villa, but Taiga, Minori, and Kitamura insist on tagging along. After Ryuuji and Taiga have a nightmare about being married to a begging Ryuuji, they confront each other at their windowsills in the morning. Taiga then creates a plan to prevent it from coming true, by holding a badminton contest against Ryuuji to see who will support the other side. Ryuuji wins, and Taiga agrees to help him with a plan to get Minori closer to him by scaring her. They, along with Minori, Kitamura, and Ami, finally arrive at Ami's villa, and while Ryuuji cleans the house and cooks, the others go to the beach and play. After dinner, Ryuuji and Minori talk about love and ghosts outside while having ice cream. The two go back inside and Taiga orders Ryuuji to make her a midnight snack since she is still hungry. The two of them go back to their rooms, and Ryuuji finds strands of hair and a sticky substance on his bed, while one of Taiga's dresses is covered with the same substance as Ryuuji's. Banging sounds emerge from the door and the balcony as the two grip each other in fear. Ryuuji and Taiga stay up all night, still unsure of what had occurred the night before, and discuss how to scare Minori. Kitamura overhears them and wants to help, believing that Minori loves being terrified, and enlists Ami in helping too. They decide to pull a massive scare by taking a walk through a hidden cave filled with traps designed to scare Minori. However, Ami backs out after Ryuuji refuses to tell her why he wants to do this. However, she eventually decides to help, and leads the group into the cave, where Kitamura has planted many pathetic scary traps. Ami splits with the group by going to another pathway, and Ryuuji follows her. While alone, Ami tells Ryuuji that she is better suited for him. The situation quickly gets out of hand as Kitamura and Minori disappear, and the mysterious hair and seaweed from last night appear again. It is later revealed that Kitamura and Minori were playing a trick on them, which included last night's scare. The two claim to have known what Ryuuji and Taiga were up to, but Minori appreciates it for being so thrilling. After the summer break, Yuri-sensei complains about nothing happening during the school holidays compared to her students, and being in her 30s she is still single. Preparations have begun for the school's cultural festival, with the student president and her brother in charge. The council helps make decisions, yet the students also formulate plans to help themselves with their love lives. Suggested ideas are a maid cafe and a cosplay cafe, but the draw results in a professional wrestling skit. Kuji Haruta creates a play that has roles for everyone. Kitamura informs the class that the student council has decided to give prizes to the class with the best performance. However, the prizes mostly benefit the girls. Throughout the day, Taiga receives phone calls from her father and ignores them all. She tells Ryuuji that he abandoned her. He empties her living expenses account, forcing Taiga to answer her father's calls. However, she sends Ryuuji to her place instead. As her father treats Ryuuji to a fancy dinner, he explains to Ryuuji that he remarried someone a lot younger than him and it completely changed their lifestyle to the point where someone had to leave. However, he informs Ryuuji that he plans to divorce his second wife and that he wants to live with Taiga like the old days. Taiga's father waits for Taiga and Ryuuji to come home, where Taiga immediately kicks her father's groin. Ryuuji tries to persuade Taiga to at least talk to him and that she should be happy she has a father who wants her. Taiga admits that it was she who abandoned the family, not the other way around. When Ryuuji realizes the only reason he wants to help Taiga resolve her family issues is because he is in such a mishap, he stops himself. However, at this point, Taiga agrees to talk with her father only because Ryuuji persists so much, stating she won't see it the way he does. The class is busy rehearsing for the play with Haruta directing them. Taiga and her dad start to reconnect and Taiga wants to switch parts with Ami so that her father can see her good side. When Ryuuji tells Minori of their reconciliation, Minori gets angry and argues with Ryuuji that Taiga should not have anything to do with her dad, while Ryuuji feels the opposite. Taiga tries to calm things down by making the two shake hands, but Ryuuji walks away angrily. During the festival, Taiga's dad does not show up, and Ryuuji does not apologize to Minori. The play parodies Yuri-sensei being single using the concept of the red string of fate. Taiga is constantly waiting for her father's message, even while on stage. The play is hugely successful due to other classes doing cosplay cafes and food stalls. Ami addresses the school and starts the beauty contest as a dominatrix. Just as Taiga makes a dramatic appearance in the beauty contest, Ryuuji receives a text from her dad saying he would not be able to live with her and realizes that trusting him was his fault. Taiga wins the beauty contest, despite the sadness that her father did not show up. Ryuuji and Minori then slowly clap for her to cheer her up and then everyone else follows alongside them. A race is held for the guys to determine who will crown and dance with Taiga, and Ryuuji, finally understanding Minori's warning, is determined to win it, using shortcuts and stepping on top of other participants. Near the end of the race, two boys push Minori, who is the only girl participating, down, and she throws a baseball at them. She also throws herself toward the last four participants and provides an opportunity for Ryuuji to win, however, he goes back for her. They hold hands as they cross the finish line together, forgiving each other as Taiga spends time dancing with Kitamura. A rumor starts that anyone who touches Taiga will be granted happiness or one wish. The cultural festival pictures are for sale. While Taiga buys the picture of her and Kitamura dancing, Minori notices Ryuuji buying a picture of both of them running toward the finishing line holding hands. She decides to buy it too. Ami is complimented as being mature all day, but after bumping into Ryuuji at the market, she is told that she behaves more like a kid. She later tells her mother that she wants to stay. Kitamura is told something by the student council president and goes to contemplate it, running into Taiga along the way. Taiga returns to Ryuuji's house where his mother boasts that the three of them are like a family. Everyone else is left to contemplate what it is they are wishing for from the Palmtop Tiger legend. Kitamura declares to the class that he does not want to be student council president and flips out in the middle of class. He shows up to school the next day with his hair dyed blonde, which gets him in trouble with the teacher. While everyone tries to figure out what is wrong with him, Ryuuji walks home with Minori. They have a conversation about Ami's odd reaction toward Kitamura's behavior. When Ryuuji arrives home, he is surprised to find Kitamura there. Kitamura had run away from home, much to Taiga's delight. He spends the day with them full of excitement but runs off when Ryuuji's mother attempts to dye his hair back to normal. At school, Taiga is competing to be the next student council president. Taiga and Ryuuji try to get Kitamura to become the next student council president by telling students how Taiga will ruin everyone's high school life. Ryuuji discovers that Kitamura has feelings for Tsundere, the student council president, and that she is going to be studying abroad in America soon, which explains Kitamura's odd behavior. After encouragement from Tsundere, Kitamura becomes a candidate. Taiga drops out of the race, leaving Kitamura to become the student council president. He confesses his love to Tsundere in front of everyone, but she does not respond to his feelings. Taiga becomes outraged at this and fights Tsundere. After Ryuuji and the council members stop the fight, Tsundere confesses she did not want Kitamura to sacrifice everything for her. Kitamura overhears this and states he is glad he fell in love with her. As Minori leaves, Ami asks her if she feels guilty. 2 days later, Tsundere leaves to study abroad and Taiga is suspended for 2 weeks. She is told to send a letter of apology to Tsundere and instead sends a letter with only the word idiot, about Tsundere confessing that she wished she was just another idiot like other people. Minori becomes disoriented during a baseball game because of what Ami had said and makes a mistake that causes her team to lose the game. Christmas is coming up, much to the joy of Taiga, whose suspension from school has just lifted. After Ryuuji tells her that his relationship with Minori has not progressed, Taiga declares the need to play Cupid for him, since she wants to be good for Santa. At school the next morning, students who became fans of Taiga after her fight with Tsundere surround Taiga and Ryuuji. After acknowledging her victory, Taiga and Ryuuji head to their classroom to see Minori wearing a bald wig while speaking nonsense. Kitamura arrives and lies down in front of Taiga in admiration for her actions to help his relationship with Tsundere. Later, Kitamura announces the student council will organize a Christmas Eve party to boost romantic feelings among students. Taiga and Ryuuji ask Minori to go to the party with them, but she vehemently declines. Taiga, Ryuuji, Kitamura, Haruta, Noto, and Maya eat together at the restaurant where Minori works, who was off that day, and they pair Kitamura and Taiga up at a table by themselves. After Kitamura leaves with Taiga to get the group drinks, Ryuuji begins to think about how he feels about her. Everyone is helping with the Christmas party. While Ryuji's friends keep giving Kitamura and Taiga some alone time, Ami compares Ryuji's relationship with Taiga as akin to a father-slash-daughter relationship and tells him he should stop it soon. After the final exam, Ryuuji helps Taiga send presents to her parents and some lonely children. Taiga recalls when she got to meet Santa, which despite possibly being a dream, gives her hope that someone is always watching over her. Everyone helps put together an artificial Christmas tree topped with a crystal star that Taiga brought. Everyone is pleased with their efforts and awed by the sight of the tree lit up. However, a stray softball crashes through the gym window and knocks over the tree, smashing the star. This sends Minori into deep regret and she forces it upon herself to fix the broken star. Despite her protests, Ryuuji helps her out. The baseball club apologizes and Minori leaves, still declining Ryuji's offer of going to the party as she feels she would not be welcome after the accident. Despite hearing that, Ryuuji promises her that he will wait for her. On the night of the party, Taiga gives Ryuuji a suit to wear to the party while he still attempts to convince Minori to come. The party begins with a special Christmas song performed by Taiga and Ami. Following the song, Ami informs Ryuuji that Taiga has left the party. Taiga decides to go home to wait for Santa Claus, stopping by Minori's house on the way to convince her to go to the party. Ryuuji, figuring she would be alone, goes to Taiga's apartment dressed up as a bear Santa Claus to help Taiga realize that she is not alone. Afterward, she tells Ryuuji to go back and wait for Minori. Ryuuji leaves, despite initially resisting. Taiga begins crying uncontrollably, thinking that with Ryuuji together with Minori, Ryuuji and herself can no longer stay together. Taiga rushes after Ryuuji, calling for him, but he is already gone. Minori, who was heading to the party, witnesses this. When Minori meets Ryuuji at the school, she implies to him that she does not wish to have a boyfriend at this point. Ryuuji interprets this as being rejected and collapses onto the sidewalk. Following Ryuji's rejection by Minori, Taiga visits a shrine while he has the flu and runs into Kitamura. Taiga decides not to come over to Ryuji's house anymore and tells him not to give up on her. The teacher informs her students that the field trip to Okinawa is now going to be a ski trip due to their previously booked hotel burning down. Taiga points out to Ryuuji that this would be his last chance to confirm Minori's feelings before classes are rearranged. Ryuuji catches up with Minori, who is still a bit disheartened from Christmas, and Taiga provides an opportunity for the two to start talking again. Later, Ryuuji, Minori, Kitamura, Ami, and the other students go to Taiga's apartment to discuss plans for the trip. Ryuuji and Minori talk in the kitchen, where she constantly praises Ryuuji for the way Taiga has become. She wishes that things would stay the way they were forever, while Ryuuji knows that it would not be possible, and becomes determined to confess properly. During the ski trip, Ryuuji wonders why Taiga had not told him about meeting Kitamura on New Year's. Hisamitsu gets into a fight with Maya concerning her attempts to be around Kitamura. Ryuuji has a brief talk with Minori about how to deal with it. Minori puts on the hairpin Ryuuji got for her, saying Taiga gave it to her. When confronted by Kitamura, Hisamitsu, and Haruta, Ryuuji reveals he has a crush on Minori. Later, they investigate the girl's room to find out the true reason behind Minori's rejection, only to end up hiding in a closet along with Taiga, when Ami, Minori, Maya, and Nanako come in. Ami brings up the topic of Ryuji's rejection by Minori, and the two get angry at each other. The next day, Taiga and Minori accidentally run into Ami on their sled. Ami feels that they did it on purpose because of last night's argument and engages in a physical fight with Minori. Minori drops her hairpin on a nearby slope and Taiga goes to search for it by herself, but ends up falling without the others noticing. When Taiga does not return, Kitamura, Minori, and Ryuuji search for her. Ryuuji contemplates his feelings for Taiga as he realizes he left her alone again. Ryuuji finds her at the bottom of a hill, bleeding and covered in snow. As Ryuuji carries her back, a barely conscious Taiga, thinking that he is Kitamura, apologizes and confesses that she cannot stop loving Ryuuji. Following the incident on the ski trip, Taiga is staying with her mother and has not come back to school. Ryuuji asks Kitamura to pretend he was the one who saved Taiga to make her story true. Later, Hisamitsu and Haruta take Ryuuji to a ramen shop where Minori has started another part-time job. At home, Ryuuji bemoans the fact he is not able to afford further education, but Yasuko tells him he should aim for the best. Ryuuji goes home and finds Yasuko gone to work, as a result of yesterday's discussion. Noticing the hairpin he got for Minori, he puts it away in his box, realizing he would not be able to give it to her. He is surprised to find Taiga on his doorstep and locked out of her apartment. She lied about being seriously ill to bond with her mother. When she notices the box with Minori's hairpin in it, she reassures Ryuuji that he will be with her. Taiga tells him that she had a dream about the events that occurred and the stupid words she said, and he assures her that, apart from Kitamura saving her, it was all a dream. As Valentine's Day approaches, Ryuuji and Taiga get called in concerning their future ambitions form, though Taiga seems uninterested. Ryuuji encounters Ami refusing to model the school uniform and talks with her. Ami tells him that she originally planned to stay at school temporarily, but she stayed to help Taiga. Ryuuji gets a call from Taiga saying Yasuko had collapsed due to anemia from overworking. Ryuuji blames himself, but they both decide to fill in for Yasuko's part-time job of selling chocolate and use Ami's celebrity status to boost their sales. Taiga decides to make everyone some chocolate as thanks for the things they have done for her. However, when Minori notices that Taiga believed Kitamura rescued her from the ski trip instead of Ryuuji, she becomes angry. She confronts Taiga, with Ami and Kitamura blocking the exits, trying to get her to show her true feelings. Taiga says she only wanted Minori to be happy, but Minori says that happiness is something only she can decide for herself. Taiga runs off and Minori decides to go after her, asking Ryuuji if he will go after her too. Ryuuji decides to help Minori go after Taiga. While running to catch up, Minori shouts that she has always liked Ryuuji but is held back because of her friendship with Taiga. She also says that Taiga has to obtain her happiness as well. Afterward, Minori confirms Ryuuji's love for Taiga. Later at work, Taiga finds Ryuuji waiting for her and agrees to talk to him after the shift. However, after work, Ryuuji and Taiga's mothers confront their children, and the two flee. They stop at a bridge to talk about their situations and Taiga, after telling Ryuuji that he has to live on, accidentally pushes him into the river. Ryuuji yells to Taiga about his plan of running away and marrying her. Kitamura calls up and asks them to go to Ami's house. Minori, Ami, and Kitamura do not agree with their plans but decide to support them, with Ami giving them the key to her beach house and Minori giving them the money she earned at work. After Taiga and Ryuuji leave, Ami sees Minori feeling down and consoles her. At home, Ryuuji finds that his mother has run away, leaving a note and his grandfather's watch. The next morning, Ryuuji and Taiga get on a train, but after Taiga talks about being a three-person family with Yasuko, Ryuuji decides that they will not run away. He takes Taiga to his grandparents' house, as Yasuko told him inside her note, and introduces himself as their grandson and Taiga as his bride. After hearing Taiga's fake voicemail message, Yasuko arrives at Ryuuji's grandparents' house where Ryuuji is waiting. Yasuko makes up with her parents and tells Ryuuji that his father ran off while she was still pregnant, and she gave birth to him. Ryuuji decides that he and Taiga should not run away, and instead get married with everyone's approval. They have a rehearsed wedding at night in their room where they share their first kisses. They all go home, but Taiga, after listening to her mother's exasperated voicemails, decides to go back to her because she does not want to run away from her problems. Ryuuji remembers that Taiga never returned to eat dinner with his family after returning. His teacher later informs the class that Taiga had quit their school and is with her mother. This announcement was told to tell the class that they will encounter many crossroads in life. As the whole class was busy trying to contact Taiga or in shock at the announcement, Ryuuji left the class and Minori, Kitamura, and Ami followed alongside him. Minori is not happy that Ryuuji lets her leave and slaps him, but he has come to terms with everything despite being frustrated about Taiga's decision in the beginning. After school at Taiga's apartment, Ryuuji finds a bag that included a lot of things such as her passport and student handbook. Inside the handbook, there was a picture of Taiga with Ryuuji that she purchased during the school festival. Minori apologizes to Ryuuji for slapping him but is sorry, not sorry. Despite her intentions, she explains that she understands Taiga's motives for leaving and what she is doing now. Taiga also sends the class a mail with a picture of the night sky and a single star, and Minori feels that this is supposed to encourage them to do their best. Everyone responded and together sent a group picture to Taiga with the star. When Minori finds the star, the class gets into the photo around Ryuuji holding the star with Minori and Ami attempting to make Ryuuji smile in the photo. As seasons pass, Ryuuji contemplates him being the dragon and Taiga being the tiger and standing together. Ryuuji believes that he will be beside her regardless of distance. On the day of the high school graduation ceremony, Taiga returns to their old classroom and Ryuuji rushes up and finds her in a locker in the classroom. Since he hasn't confessed to her before, he finally does. She becomes flustered and headbutts him, telling him for picking a better mood or place to say I love you. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this video.